I think the foreign policy of the United States is failing. I think it's failing. I think our leadership role in the world is failing. And I think that we need much stronger, tougher leadership. We need tougher diplomacy. The idea that, so when you asked me about this notion of unpredictability in warfare is a really good thing, okay? Like, for example, you stood here today and you heard about all these red lines that people complained about. We should never tell anybody what a red line, we should never say the red line. So that's just one little aspect of it. But foreign policy starts with strong personal relationships with foreign leaders, okay, at every level. President to president, presidents to kings, presidents to prime ministers, all the way down to, you know, ambassadors and maybe some of our senior military, because those are always strong, positive relationships anyway. That's number one. And so I think right now our inability to have those kind of positive relationships has hurt our ability to have a foreign policy discussion in the United States of America, you know, among ourselves first, before we start talking about what we're going to do overseas. The world right now has dramatically changed in the last 70 years, okay, last 75 years, okay? So the last 3/4 of a century, the population of the planet has more than tripled, okay? The infusion of information technology really just started 10 years ago. Facebook came out in roughly 2005. So we're still getting used to this, just this rapid speed in which information is available. Why does an organization that has nothing, okay, has nothing and has radicalized potentially millions of people, why do they have a social media capability that's as good as CNN? It'll be a good relationship. It'll be one based on brutal honesty, and it'll be a relationship based on mutual respect for each other's capabilities, and an understanding that all of the countries in NATO cannot all try to look alike when it comes to military resources and military capabilities. And too often, every country that enters NATO, I think, has this belief that they all have to have an Army, a Navy, an Air Force, and a Marine Corps, like us. And that's not something that they can't afford it. And in fact, they're not paying for it now. So NATO was designed, NATO is a political alliance based for military purposes, okay? NATO is a political alliance for military purposes. It's not a military alliance, okay? It's a political alliance for military purposes. So what NATO has to do is revisit all the assumptions that NATO was built upon in post-World War II, 70 years ago plus, okay? Relook the assumptions. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean you throw NATO out. It just means you relook those assumptions.